Good morning and welcome to Master Trader, where you can learn to use simple market and stock analysis to make money investing and trading. I'm Greg Capra. Let's take a look at where these markets are at. So, spiders are pushed right up against the prior high here. Decent recovery. Now we've got a major support point down here as we do in these other markets as well. Qs are the only ones that made a new high, and you can see yesterday that the momentum stalled in all of the markets, and we can see that by the narrow range day that occurred in all of these markets, and narrow body. Body being the distance between the open and closing price, and you can see the Russell 2000 here with this, what's called a doji type bar. It's right in the area of resistance. Now, when you see a bar like this, where it's suggestive of a pullback, you want to put it in the context of where it is. Many times you can have a bar like this, whereas even like here, it's making a new all-time high. How much weight are we going to put into this type of a narrow body, narrow range bar versus one that's up against resistance where we know that there are sellers right here? So we want to put a little common sense together with a particular candle pattern to put together the probabilities of whether it's going to follow through or not. The transports have been underperforming. They're up against this resistance here in the 50 MA. We'll see if they can hold up here. I like the wide range bar. It did have a bit of a pickup in volume. It did underperform the other markets, but we'll see if it can hold up here, whether it's going to fall back. The markets this year after this drop have just been pretty much, observation of how they're going to react to these prior highs and lows as they're trying to find their footing after that large drop to see if they can come back. So while the Qs have, it's really the technology and internet stocks that are driving this higher, and some biotechs. And lastly, they're starting to come back here as the regional banks, which broke out to a new high, and they held up relatively well with the market correction. So they did show some relative strength. So you want to take a look at some of those regional banks. They look pretty good that they can continue to go higher. The futures here this morning are up a bit, so you can see the S&Ps actually pushed up through that high yesterday, whereas the spiders did not, and they're just holding on here, especially after the news at 8:30, which was seen to be initially a positive, and that the futures spiked up, and then they just came right back down again. So a little bit of a hesitancy to continue to push higher here after the run up over the last week or so. Pretty normal type of price action, and maybe we get some sideways price action for a few days. Doesn't really seem to be anything in the news coming, that, especially after this morning's news, that are going to push the market slower. But maybe on Friday, where we have some more economic data, that might push them lower. Some stocks moving. Micron continues its advance. That's up another 2.5 points this morning. Now, interestingly, General Electric, where it's been trying to make a bottom here, JP Morgan came out today and gave it a target of $11. So we'll see what this does today. If it actually goes lower, it's not falling apart, but it's trading at around 1469 right now. So it is down a bit, and this may be one to put on your short list on, and maybe they're right, and it will go lower. It has been under pressure in all time frames. Dick's Sporting Goods, DKS, is down a little over 1.5 or about 5% on news, and this is one to consider as a short candidate, as it's gapping down here at around 30.90. So right around here, that topping tail yesterday, and could open up the door for more downside. So keep an eye on that one. And what else is moving here? Might be BL. Not sure what that one is, but getting taken to the woodshed. And as we say, it's trading at $40.80. That's down there quite a bit. And Adobe continues to push higher. It's up here a little bit this morning. So overall, you probably want to stand aside here at the open. Let's see where things may go. with this stalling momentum that we saw yesterday, and the futures, as already mentioned, how they popped up and came right back in again. So there's some hesitancy here. I already showed you the intraday time frame, and the NASDAQ futures, they're just holding up here. So probably a little bit of a consolidation over the next couple of days, and we'll see where it goes from there. Good trading.